Merriam-Webster's dictionary. I want to look up 2 words to start off with. Make sure we're on the same page. Advocate. The word advocate means one who pleads the cause of another. That's what an advocate is. One who pleads the cause of another. Specifically, one who pleads the cause of another before a tribunal or judicial court. One who defends or maintains a cause or proposal, an advocate of liberal arts education. And 3, one who supports or promotes the interests of a cause or a group. That word right there, to me, that third definition sounds a lot like protests or organizers, people who organize to protest against specific social injustices. But now let's talk about protests. Protest, a solemn declaration of opinion and usually of dissent or some type of disagreement. So example, a sworn declaration that payment of a note or bill has been refused and that all responsible signers or debtors are liable for resulting loss or damage. B, a declaration made especially before or while paying that a tax is illegal and that payment is not voluntary. Definition number 2, the act of objecting or a gesture of disapproval, especially a usually organized public demonstration of disapproval. So there are many ways you can protest. Publicly protesting is not the only way to protest. There are different types of protests. You can protest in court. You can protest with somebody personally. You can protest to your landlord. You can protest to your neighbors. There's different types of protests. Number 3, a complaint, objection, or display of unwillingness, usually to an idea or a course of action. All right, action went under protest. Number 4, an objection made to an official or a governing body of a sport. These are just some definitions. Let's look up another definition that's going to come up a lot. So depending on your translation of scriptures that you're reading from, you may not have the word protest in it, but you will have a lot of words that are within the definition of protest that are found in the heart, in the spirit, and the letters of scripture. Things that we will find are solemn declarations of opinion. We will see that. We will see people declaring things and sharing their thoughts publicly, personally, to their brothers and sisters, to leaders, to elders, to shepherds, to kings and judges. Okay. The act of objecting or a gesture of disapproval. We will see this in scripture. Organizing, usually organized public demonstration of disapproval. Can we see this in scripture? Hopefully you will see at the end of today that you do. It's there. A complaint, you'll see complaints in scriptures, objections, displays of unwillingness, usually to an idea or a course of action, and sometimes even laws. Laws of the land. Sometimes you have righteous people unwilling to follow the laws of the land because it's better to obey the laws of God, Yahuwah. Okay. What's the next one? Complaint. So the scriptural verbiage for complaint sometimes will be cause. Again, depending on your translation, you may have complaint in your scriptures, or sometimes you might have cause in your scripture, depending on your translation. And I'll get into the Hebrew word that's being used. But the definition right now for complaint, an expression of grief, pain, or dissatisfaction. 2, something that is the cause or subject of protest or an outcry. B, a bodily ailment or disease. We're not talking about that. Number 3, a formal allegation against a party. Yes, We will be addressing that today as well. Definition of ambassador. I'm setting the stage right now with definitions because I want to make sure I'm addressing the definitions, some of these words that show up in scripture. Some words don't necessarily show up, but the definition and the meanings show up. So I'm going over these words now so that I don't have to do it later, or I'll repeat it. So repetition is good for learning. Definition of ambassador. Number one, an official envoy, especially a diplomatic agent of the highest rank accredited to a foreign government or sovereign as the resident representative of his or her own government or sovereign, or appointed for a special and often temporary diplomatic assignment. This word ambassador is found in scripture, and it is absolutely overwhelmingly a political word. This is a political word that is used by the apostle in the New Testament, in the epistles, to represent who we are, being representatives of Yahusha, who is the king of the coming kingdom, or the heavenly kingdom, which will come to the earth. So if we are his ambassadors, we are to be politically engaged with the matters of the earth. There's another term I was looking for, but it didn't come out. Number two, an authorized representative or messenger. We are authorized messengers and representatives of Yahuwah and Yahusha. An unofficial representative, traveling abroad as ambassadors of goodwill. So there's different levels of ambassador, and I'd be addressing all of that, because I understand that in the kingdom of Yahuwah, we have pastors, we have leaders, teachers, judges, people in high positions, but we also have the common person who is a disciple, and we're all ambassadors. Whether you're a teacher, whether you're just a student, you're still a representative of the kingdom that is about justice, peace, mercy, love, so many other things. Let's continue.